We begin in Montreal, where countries at the UN Biodiversity Summit have adopted a historic deal to protect nature. The agreement is the most significant effort yet to protect vital ecosystems, safeguarding 30% of the world's land and seas. The deal also promotes agricultural reforms and provides critical financing to save biodiversity in the developing world. Beatrice Cristoforo from our Environment Desk is covering this story for us. Beatrice, 190 countries have struck a deal to protect biodiversity. This deal is being hailed as historic. What makes it so significant?
Many environmentalists are saying that this deal is our last chance to, reverse the threat on our biodiversity, which basically refers to all living things on Earth. So if we look at the situation right now where thousands of species are under threat of extinction, our insect numbers are plummeting, our oceans are acidifying, the situation is very dire and our ecosystems are under enormous pressure. So this deal could change the way we farm, the way we do business, and the way we protect our animals and plants.
This deal was hammered out in a series of really tough negotiations. You mentioned 190 countries. Getting them to agree on something is really significant. What were the biggest points of contention?
The biggest point of contention by far was financing. And that's something we already saw at the climate talks, which were also UN talks in Egypt in November, because it really boils down to this, that poor nations want richer nations to give them more financial aid to help them in their conservation efforts, especially because these developing nations are the ones that really are home to some of the most outstanding biodiversity. For example, if you think of the Amazon in South America. So these negotiations got so heated at one point that delegates from poor nations walked out of the negotiations.
Okay. So how much of a game changer do you think this deal will really be? Do you think that it can actually help stop the relentless degradation of plant and animal life on the planet?
If this deal becomes a game changer really depends on the way we implement it, the way that governments honor the promises that and the commitments that they made in these negotiations. Because as we've seen in other historic deals before, for example, the Paris Agreement in 2015, which focused on climate talks, these commitments are not always honored. I mean, really big promises were made in terms of global warming in Paris at that point, and the way things are going right now, we're not honoring them. So with this deal, we also got to see, okay, we made the promises, but are we going to walk the walk?
You mentioned the climate negotiations that have been going on. We've seeing those agreements broken. How does this deal on biodiversity plug into the whole notion of climate change? Because they are, of course, closely related.
Exactly. Experts are saying that they're completely interlinked and that to fight climate change, we also got to protect our biodiversity, especially ecosystems such as forests. So to come back to my example of the Amazon, this massive rainforest is absolutely crucial to absorb carbon from the atmosphere because this keeps the atmosphere from heating up. So the more we deforest, the more we threaten our climate also. And similarly, for us to protect the more we pollute and the more we emit, that also is a massive threat on our biodiversity.
Beatrice, thank you very much for your insights. That was Beatrice Cristoforo from our Environment Desk.
Thank you.